Hello and welcome back to Let's Make Merle, a character for the Kickstarter video game Grey Skies Dark Waters. In the previous episode we possibly finished detailing the hat. I'm not quite happy with this arch right here where I am doing the mouse wiggle over. So I'll have to see if I come up with a creative idea sometime to fix that up, because just the shadow it's making, it's oddly symmetrical. It's not reading the way I like, but for now, this episode we're going to focus on the jacket. Now, at the end of the last episode I accidentally deleted the jacket, so I went back in a quick save, recovered it, and made sure that the zipper lines up correctly. That is all I did. I think the zipper we had actually already done. I had lost the zipper because of the Google Drive failure. It was syncing the file and I actually deleted it, which is really scary. But since I already pretty much had all the shape, I went ahead and redid it, and that's what we see here. So I'm going to jump right in. There's one brush I really love. It's called the Fold brush. It is in my dry brushes somewhere here. This is it. I call it the BFD. It is a gorgeous brush because it just makes folds like this. It's actually pretty nice. I'm gonna add another subdivision level just to get the resolution we need. This is at 3.8 million polygons, so I definitely can't go above this. I have to see how much. This fold brush, it uses an automatic smooth, which is what I have the smooth here for. I'm just not getting enough detail. So maybe I do have to go up one. It's still not enough, and why is it doing a curve? Huh. For some reason when I mask, it's got curve mode on. Let's see what that would be under stroke. Turn off curve mode. Okay, that's looking fine. It's lagging a bit, but that's just because, well, we've got a lot of polygons here. I'm going to turn on mask by polygroups. See how that works. It's doing a lot of masking because of, in that case I'm going to start off with the Damien standard brush, which is also not really giving me a lot of that puffy detail I'm really looking for. Tell you what I'm going to do is, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and split this mesh, because I don't think that, debating whether to just split the inside off, because obviously a lot of these polygons are going to be on the inside of the mesh. That's only 3K. Let's see, where's the majority of these polygons, I wonder? Maybe they are on these border polygroups. Maybe I had too many edge loops. Nope, those are these are merely, oh goodness, 1.8 million just for this edge loop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the lowest subdivision level, since I haven't massively sculpted anything yet. I'm going to go into my Z modeler brush, see if I can delete this edge. Nope, it's not going to allow me to do that. Yeah, because the thing is that the density of this is too much. What am I going to do here? What I think I'll do, which could be kind of cool anyway, is I think that 1.2 million polygons, which for me it's just not a comfortable sculpting level, just because it's too laggy. I'm gonna go in and actually just make a copy of this mesh without that many, with just these parts. So I'm gonna go in and hide this as well. And that one, sure, let that one be its own thing. I am fine with that. And maybe I'll just start and kind of make a duplicate of this and invert visibility on this, so that we have the inside. And on this, I'm going to just say delete hidden. And I can only do that on a low subdivision level, so delete hidden. See if that keeps it. Yeah, we've got a couple of folds. Wow, where'd those folds? Those folds actually, I meant to do that! Huh! That's adding a lot of real nice detail just by that error in the reprojection of the deleting. Look at those active points, that is a much more reasonable number. Now when I go into the highest subdivision level, I'm at 1.1 million, which is a very reasonable subdivision level. Let's see just how plausible sculpting is. So one problem right off the bat is just, let's see if I can, one problem right off the bat is that it's smoothing these edges, so I'm going to try and increase everything, increase tolerance of 0, with a increase all, increase tolerance of very much. Try subdividing this to make sure that there's no hole, but it seems we're still getting a small hole. It'll be fine. It's just the fold in the fabric, man. Okay, but what we definitely have to do is at all points have the border crease, which is fine anyway, because as you can see, we'll never, for this jacket here, we'll actually never want to sculpt directly all the way down into the border, I think. Let's just see what happens. Okay, maybe I do need the border. Fuck. Okay, so I'm gonna go back and undo all this until I'm back here. I'm gonna go into visibility and say grow. Just grow that by 2. And it's still not that many more points. See. Man, those are a lot of edge loops. And let's see what happens if I go in here now. Wow, I don't think maybe if I grow it now. Yeah. Now if I say delete hidden and go to the highest level, let's see how sculpting is now. Let's see here. Obviously, these are gonna have certain difficulty. Do I have mask by polygroups on? Yes, I do. That would explain. Oh, well, that looks really nice. And if I isolate this, I do not have the inside polygon. What exactly do I not have right now? Well, that was a failure. We'll just have to figure out how to reduce these in size. Well, maybe we don't need that much. Well, I guess what I'll do is make a duplicate of this mesh and then delete lower and let's see. It's just too many edge loops on here. That's the problem. And it's multiplying my polys by way more than is at all necessary. So I'm not quite sure what the best way to remedy the situation would be. Because I think the way I was doing it would make sense just to sculpt the poofy parts of the jacket, but well, maybe if I just hide the very inside on this duplicate mesh, basically doing the same thing but a little different. In this mesh, but in this one we invert this and then grow it a bit and then say delete it. Now on this, go here and say delete higher. this visible. And yeah, this should keep the basic shape, but what we now have is this one, let's go into this kind of level, and into this one we have, yeah. Just gonna start drawing in it's a little too much intensity right now, too little. Onto this. Oh, somehow it got disconnected actually. Interesting. Did I even... What am I doing with this? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, we've got this. And it seems like we divided and we didn't say delete hidden. Now if we divide, it's working. Good. Okay, so now we can sculpt. That was a little more complicated than anticipated, but I think it'll all work out in the end. What I could also do is just zero mesh everything, but then we lose the great creasing that we have. But that is absolutely also a possibility. Now we have 2.2 million here, but this is the level that we need for being able to sculpt the folds in this jacket. So I'm going ahead, and it's probably just going to be mostly a fold video where I'm kind of just going to be experimenting with different looks for this jacket, ways for it to kind of add stress lines. Get that Damien standard, much less intense. Check out, see how my fold brush is acting. It's a little too harsh, actually, for this jacket. But there are instances where that fold brush is a lifeline. I'm gonna actually go back and turn on mask by polygroups again. And what I'm gonna do is say auto groups. Oh boy, I should have done that at a lower subdivision level. Well, might as well grab a drink. This might take a while. It is got 2 million polygons. Alright, auto groups was successful. And now we're going to, I'll just sculpt. Switching my clay buildup brush to the round alpha. And a little bit of less the intensity. I want those nice, something that's absolutely just fantastic about the standard brush is the real nice curve it brings out. Turn down my smooth a little bit. I'm experimenting with a couple of different shapes here, trying to kind of figure out what kind of artistic direction I'm gonna go, and actually roll back a lot of this work. And that's something super important, is not having a fear of rolling back your work. Oftentimes, for example, with the hat, I kind of went with a couple of decisions which maybe weren't that good, but I went with them because, well, I'd already done all this work for them, and that's really compromising your quality in the end. So that's definitely something you want to not be afraid of, in my honest opinion. So I think this is going to end up being kind of a mix between the Inflate and the Damien Standard. Give it a little bit more power. I'm going to try and get an even Inflate, but just the fact that I'm a human being using a brush to create these will, I'm hoping, give it a bit more of an organic feel. But thing is, these lines, they are still not reading the way I want them to. I want to have little, thin, high-frequency stress marks along the edge. I can kind of see it in my head the way I want it, and none of the things I've been trying so far has really been giving me exactly that. So I'm kind of still kind of looking for exactly that one thing which will make it look good. So here I'm trying a bit more high frequency wrinkles and seeing if that will give it a better look, but it's still somehow not giving me what I want. I think in general what it does need for sure is a bit more puff, so I'm going to go into the lowest subdivision level, do mask by feature border. Do I view mask now? Okay. Mask by feature groups. Okay, that works for me. And inflate this. Oh, what the? So I have the inner faces as well, but that's alright if I inflate them. I just want to. Alright. Let's inflate this a bit. Okay. Let's see what this looks like. Seems like that generated some really odd things here along the sides. Oh wait, those were already there. Those are because I split off the mesh. Okay, so these will basically be the things holding the rest in. Alright, I'm going to try the clay buildup, see how that kind of acts, if that can give me what I'm looking for. And I'm definitely liking it. Ah, I still have mask by polygroups. I'm just going to turn it down a bit, but because definitely want to keep using it, but not maybe quite as intensely. Because the problem is that after a while, that effect just kind of goes away. Like if I turn on mask by polygroups and I move all the way over here, it just gets less and less, which is really kind of a bummer. Actually, it seems to be working fine. Maybe I just have to be aware that I'm using it. I like that effect. I think that's the effect I want to kind of pursue. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to all these different puff patches, as I like to call them, as of now. And this way I don't have to worry about messing up any of the other puff patches because I'm isolated to exactly and only this one. And then I think what I'll do is I'll do a second pass of more detail wrinkles to get that high frequency detail, because right now I'm working very much on the low frequency form of the object, and of the jacket. And next step would be then to add those high frequency details in a couple areas and just to accent those shadows, get them nice and hard. Make sure I'm not... Yes, the inside is hit. And perfect. And I turned off dynamic just because it was... I want a little bit more variety in my brush size for sculpting this. It adds kind of a more organic effect to the whole thing. Like right here, I'm just gonna add a little bit more in the middle, kind of to get that sculpted quality into there. Actually, I might actually, for this might be the perfect opportunity to actually use the rectangular brush size. Maybe go up a subdivision level, and that way you get some. I get some of those high frequency crinkly quinks. Yeah, I like that a lot. And then later I'll just smooth out the ones where it's becoming too noisy. Yeah, I like this. This is, I think I found the process I want to use for this. It's just being one of those super high crinkle jackets. Really looking forward to making the material of this and matching something super glossy, kind of plasticky, kind of like a car paint material. I don't know, maybe that's silly. Oh. I really love that feeling when you finally found that brush which is giving you exactly the texture you're looking for. Because when I go and subdivide this, ooh, it'll probably look good, which I can't do right now because I actually haven't subdivided it that much. And I don't want to kind of break the process by unhiding, subdividing, checking it. So maybe I should. Oh no! Forgot the arms are actually symmetrical, so I'm gonna go in and say here, see if I can still get in the deformation tab, smart resim. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Who knows? This might take a while. Might as well pour myself another drink. I'm not drinking anything alcoholic, in case you're wondering if that is the source of my strangeness. This could take a while. Might want to skip ahead. I'll try and put a little marker in the video to where this says finished. I'm probably going to go ahead and do it asymmetrically anyway, so yeah. But I don't want to... Oh, I like this music. Cool. This is a new album, I haven't heard this one yet. Let's see when the last quick save was. You can do that under your C programs. ZBrush is still in the x86, Pixel Logic, ZBrush. The project? No. Did I change my quick save directory? No, you can't change that. Nope, it's on there. Might be in my app data. Nope, not there. Nope, wrong. Nope. I actually pinned it. ZBrush data. Public documents. It's good thing that these aren't so... Well, let's see. That one actually wasn't that long ago, so I'm gonna kill this. And open this one. Ta-da! No, I don't want that. Ah, no. Okay, well... what a mess. I'll have to clean that up later. I'm actually gonna just save this under the ZBrush, the actual ZBrush. There we go. And just forget about the quick save. What I really want to do is kind of do one more subdivision level. No! What? Ah, there we go. That's the next subdivision level. Oh, okay. Hide this. And let's just keep sculpting where we left off. I kind of like these really huge splotches of coating. Adding the kind of noise that I really kind of want to have. Then later on I can just kind of smooth out, make it more noisy along the edge. Definitely want to have not weighted smooth mode. Mask by polygroups on. So a little bit too much intensity. There we go. Alright, that looks nice and poofy. I'm gonna actually start sculpting symmetrically now. So I just turned on my X symmetry. Just so at least a couple of the arms can be saves a little bit of time there, even though I forgot to turn it on for this bottom portion. Don't worry, I'm not gonna try and resymmetrize it again. Where am I? There we go. Get that there. Okay, doing good on time. What I like about this process, even though it might take longer than other processes might, is that I have control about how every single part of this looks, and this is kind of like a reshaping right now, where I'm taking the form that the inflate kind of gave me and can get into a little more in depth with it, get a little more personal with it, like kind of pulling the shoulders a bit more out here, etc. I'm gonna turn off X symmetry and go just finish up this other arm here. Actually use a flatten brush to take this back a little bit and then come back in with my clay build-up, because it was getting a little too big there for my taste. And then using the brush pressure to really kind of like digging into it and then going out again so that it gets more poofy and stronger during the middle and then fades out. Move this away from my reference because I can't see anything. I add a little bit more here because it's kind of bunched up, so it's kind of like piling out of that at that angle. It's kind of I love what I just kind of noticed about this is in the Middle Ages these were the kind of clothes commonly worn by princesses and royalty. You've got this fabric going over and tied repeatedly in these bunches. So seeing as Merle is kind of like a little princess, making this like poofy, it's giving me real strange deja vu to sculpting medieval Landsknechts and soldiers who also had this really poofy thing, which also a lot of medieval princesses had. Kind of checking it with the overall model. Seems like a little bit too much frequency, but you already see where when I start to smooth it out here and just keep a little bit along the edges, the kind of effect that I'm going for there. Especially at a higher subdivision level, not quite all of that detail is going away, but a lot of that super high frequency detail is away. And since the jacket is kind of a place where you rest your eye, I think this is gonna make a really cool effect. So just to finish off this process, I'm gonna go in here, kind of sculpt this one out. And the mind begins to wander. Something so therapeutic about repeating simple actions. I'm gonna take my weighted smooth mode to number 7. I think that is the number 6. I think that's the group's border smooth mode, just to kind of smooth along the group's border as well. Seems like it's not doing a mask by polygroups on the smooth brush, which is odd. Oh well. That's fine. I'm gonna go check out that shoulder now. Yeah, it's just kind of patting it like this in this direction. Turn the mask by polygroups up. I want it to have kind of be bunching over the side here, so I'm being a little bit more aggressive in that. I'm gonna use the inflate brush just a little bit to get it to kind of inflate itself over the side. This, again, this, coming back to how the face reminded me of Ellie, this jacket is actually very strongly influenced by Ellie from The Last of Us. I just kind of, like, registered that. So, kudos to Naughty Dog for creating such an iconic digital character. And really, I think the reason I'm referencing Ellie so much is because there's not a lot of video game characters who are girls, like who are just regular girls. There's a shit ton of super buff males, a shit ton of overly sexualized females, but there's not a lot of video game characters who are just regular girls. There's plenty of regular dudes, but not a lot of regular girls, and I know that's a huge discussion in a lot of games media. It's very sensationalist, etc. And I don't even know all the other things that have been influencing that discussion, but I think that's why Ellie is one of the few video game girls. It's real fun to kind of also be sculpting a high-resolution video game girl character. I really enjoy that look that the smooth brush gave me there, so I'm actually going to kind of try and work that out in the rest of these pads here, because it's kind of giving it a more worn out edge where it's up here. Oh, and I forgot asymmetry again, but that's fine, because it wouldn't have helped anyway. Taking that detail, sculpting it out, sculpting it back in, taking more detail, sculpting it out, sculpting back in. It's one of the favorite things to do. Oh no! Might have to turn off mask by polygroups real quick and just be careful. Turn it back on. There we go. It seems like the relaxed brush is really great for getting this padded effect. Especially with the basic shape. And then just coming in with that clay buildup. There's a lot more of an organic shape coming in with the flatten to take out that high frequency detail. So while the past couple of streams had a lot of action, this is going to just mainly be a chill vibe stream. Making sure that the flattened brush isn't creating too uniform of a surface. So I'm kind of trying to get a couple different angles of this real crispy material. Crispy, I like that term. It's a good term. Oh no, it's actually RGBing it. I'm going to turn X symmetry on for this part. As you can see, I'm X symmetry. And this process just automatically creates more detail along the edges like in the jacket, but also a couple which go all the way through. So happy that I kind of did end up finding one which really gives that look that I was trying to get with a standard and Damien standard and all that. And who thought that it would be the clay buildup or clay tubes? Oh, clay tubes. Does the same thing. I like the clay buildup from the feel more though, it gives me results quicker. But yeah, who would have thought that that process would end up being the process that ends up defining these shapes. Let's see, where do we have the back? Here we go. I'm going to be careful of not making it too symmetrical here. Well, I get that poofy edge, so I'm putting a little bit more work just into maybe even building that up here. I'm going to use the inflate brush here. And then use the weighted smooth, kind of smooth that back down. Now use the clay brush to go on top. Something that I think, a mistake that I made a lot when I was starting off was to try and use the clay brush to build the underlying form. And while the clay brush is great for adding detail and kind of like adding mass to something, if you want to actually change what it's painting on, it's not the greatest brush. It's not great for changing the actual basic shape. So just a little, I have never heard of anybody else who, as far as I know, there isn't anybody else who struggled with it in that manner. But that was just something where I had a lot of trouble because I kept on trying to use only the clay brush and kind of define all of the shapes with it. So this is giving it a very hard surface feel, which is not really trying to find a balance with it. So right now I think I went a little overboard with the inflate. So I'm trying to kind of pull that back a tiny bit in a very organic way. And then go back and under it there. Flatten that out again. This large panel is giving me a little bit more trouble because it's not as, well, it's pretty big. And it's just, I think it's just coming out a little bit too heavy, but it might also just be because the rest isn't quite there yet. Add a little bit more volume to the bottom here. Kind of smooth it out a teeny tiny bit. Alright, and now, just like with the arms, I'm gonna inflate the edges here so we have that kind of bunchy effect. Yeah, now that's looking a little bit more like padding. Same here on that side. Kind of smoothing it out and then going over with the clay. I'm gonna actually dig in here a little bit and then use the clay to build a little bit more of a seam here. And one thing that I keep on doing a lot is zooming really far out, and that's just in the same way that you would create a thumbnail in order to kind of judge your concept art. Zooming out gives me a quick. When I took figure sculpting, our sculptor would continually force us to put our paintings, our sculptures, and armatures on one side of the room. Step all the way, walk to the other side of the room, and then look at them. And he was basically like, you have to know how your thing is reading. Small. You have to figure out how this detail is speaking, and it's much easier to do that with when it's really small, because it's just the way our brain processes the information. It's super different. And chances are, applying this to character sculpting now, chances are that your character will never really be that big in the picture, and if so, only for a little while. And of course you have to, and this is, of course, I mean, duh, you have to make sure that it holds up when he's close up. But something that at least I often just kind of forget is I'm looking at my character like this big, but that's not going to be the area that my character is going to be seen most of the time. So the most important thing, more than the fact that he looks good up close, is that he looks good far away. And that's like the primary thing, and if he doesn't look good in a thumbnail, then he's not going to look good close up. Like, there's no reason to click on him, to look at him. So, yeah. I like how these pads are coming. think I've kind of figured out a way to get it looking a little poofy, a little crinkly. And I will just end the episode after I finish sculpting all these. It's probably going to take quite a while. Feel free to just skip to the next part. I'm not going to say or do anything else except finish sculpting these. So, yeah. Here where my polygroups are kind of messing up, I'm going to switch to the inflate and make sure it's topological. Inflate this a bit more. I really liked how that kind of bunches out there and then this rest material just kind of gathers down here. Gonna inflate this up a bit. Real dig in there. Kind of inflate that up, like it's really squishing it. It's almost gotten too far out of hand. Flatten that back in. Inflate this up. Flatten that all out. Sometimes you always have to be very careful with the smooth brush just because it can destroy so much detail. I like how those folds are coming. I'm gonna puff it up a bit around here to make it feel like that has a little bit of weight, and then go ahead and make sure that that zipper is reading correctly. Yeah. It's a little bit too poofy right here. I'll take that back a bit with the flatten. I don't like how that fashion had that angle for that one part there. Yeah, I like that. Starting to look real organic. BIN, let's light this up. That's a little bit too much, I think. Do I have mask by polygroups on? That's probably why. Gonna actually add a pretty massive set of folds here. Gonna add one there too. And back to sculpting poofies. Oh, I gotta turn off mask by polygroup here. I think this is the last one though. The reason I have to keep on turning it on and off again is because right here, these polygroups are coming up like that. And that was just because of the zipper. Yep. Gonna turn it back on again now that I'm past that zipper part, because I really want to get a little bit of an overlap here. Turn it back on. This is on. Topological off. So obviously if I have mask by polygroups on, I don't need the topological masking, since what I'm using the masking for is just to keep me from accidentally sculpting on another part of on a different jacket poster. Coming around to this side, it's going to be a lot of different process. Hold on. I think that could be my food delivery. Hallo? Ja, ich bin zu Hause. Kann sein, dass ich nicht an der Tür war, weil ich hatte